of whatever you do. Because if you do right or you vote for somebody, so you have to stay with whatever that person will bring to you, or his the manifestation of his policy and whatever. So there are so many legacies that late Muhammadu Buhari left behind. And when some people were mentioning about agriculture, many people didn't know that it is possible in Nigeria to have rice milling factories before they started. And some people were talking about we could have allowed to continue to bring rice until when we have sufficient. What do you say? Until when you will have sufficient. It's better to endure having for your own than to continue to say you continue to bring to import until when you have sufficient. Because if you are importing, it means that you will not have the courage to have sufficient for yourself. So before he left, I'm telling you now that in every nook and cranny of this country, you see rice milling factories, to the extent that some factories even close when they start working because there is no rice to process. So I'm sure that these legacies are worthy of emulation by each and every one of us, more especially those who are growing, so that over time they will also leave something or good legacies, good things behind. May his soul rest in perfect peace. And as I said, we continue to bring those very good things that he has done, that he led, to continue to popularize them, so that over time we'll all come to understand and learn to live with such humility and consistency, so that in the end we also leave behind a great nation, a great Nigeria. Thank you.
Professor, he no doubt left a worthy legacy, a legacy of humility, of transparency, of high discipline, and humanitarian. But let's go to our Maiduguri studio now, where we have the engineer Bindi.
Systematic and who tries to follow due process in whatever he's doing. You see, he suddenly realized that the executive fiat he was using when he was military head of state was no longer tenable under a democratic dispensation. There are a due process that must be followed. And that is why perhaps some people will say, yes, some of the programs or some of the anticipation, of course, and he knows that based on the massive cult-like followership that he had in 2015 that brought him to government, he knows that people had very high expectations. And we heard that he normally says that, look, how am I going to meet the expectation of these people when these processes, these bottlenecks are all there? There are checks and balances. Things have to go to the National Assembly, you know. So these processes actually stultify the drive for him to achieve what he wanted to achieve within the shortest possible time. But on the other hand, also, he's a very patient person. I have not seen, I'm yet to see a very patient president like President Buhari. Because remember, during the clearance of the EFCC chair, because he was in a hurry to make sure that the anti-corruption fight is going to be serious, and therefore he wanted the EFCC man to be confirmed, that time Magu, I think, to be confirmed. And unfortunately, even though the agencies that were to clear Magu gave him the report that yes, this man is fit, he can hold that office, the same agency went again and gave a counter submission to the National Assembly, who now put them in a quandary. However, they were able to meet the president and say, look, some members say, look, Mr. President, something is wrong. How can this same agency give two contrary views on this particular matter? You know what he said? He said, God, through me, has given them that position. And if they disappoint me, they are disappointing God, and they will be accountable to God. And if they are not careful, they will be accountable here. You see, that is the level of patience of President Buhari. So, yeah, there could be criticisms, of course. Even when he was traveling up and down, there were criticisms, but how much was budgeted for spending? And how much did he attract? If you look at the estimates in the budget for his travels and expenditure, vis-a-vis what he was able to attract over the past 8 years, it's a peanut compared to what he has been able to attract. So it's true, but then leadership requires patience, leadership requires following due process, and therefore, yes, things could appear slow, but we, the followers, should also learn to be patient and wait for the outcome of programs and policies of the government.
Okay, thank you so much. I think we have just, let me take in a minute some of the responses that just came in now. And Sadiq Dawari said, one among the numerous Buhari legacy is the introduction of the Anko Borrowers program that touches the life of many Nigerians, particularly rural farmers. They are, for the first time in the history, being included in financial system and provided them access to finance and scale up the farmers' capacity. Nigerians, particularly rural farmers, will remember him for that. May his soul rest in peace. And another one said from Kubwa, Usaina Yusuf Bashir, Inna Lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. All Allah forgive Baba Buhari, my favorite president, and all our departed loved ones. Elevate his station among those who were guided